about someone's medical history or what happened to them doesn't need to happen. Some people just are very curious and they can't help themselves, in which case, if you ask if the person's happy to or talk about it, then at least you're mitigating it. This is kind of also the main things we're thinking about, are things like if someone's in a wheelchair or you see someone with a cane stood at a crossing that's got a visual impairment, asking if they need the help is what's really important. So, of course, ask.
Katrin, really important message. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. It's great to see you. Now, for primary school children, it is time to sharpen your pencils and get your thinking caps on, because the short story competition 500 words is back and it's here on BBC Breakfast. Jon is at a primary school in Abergavenny to tell us all about it, and he's got help.
I've got a lot of help. I need help this morning. And I tell you what, if you're watching at home and the kids in your house are not getting ready for school at the moment and they're being a bit slow, tell them that these... What time did you get up this morning? 4? 5 o'clock in the morning. They've come to school early because this is Llanfoist Vawr Primary School in Abergavenny. We've come here to launch 500 words today. It's all about getting our imaginations whirring and writing and entering competition. You're going to be entering, aren't you? Tell me, what do you like about writing?
I like about writing because it inspires other people and it's like you're going on your very own adventure.
Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. That's what we want. How about you? What do you like about writing?
I like how you can express the way you want and you can do anything you really want, and it's really creative how you do it.
You got your pencils ready on the table? You ready to write? Mrs Draper, they're brilliant kids here.
They are. They're fantastic.
Are you going to be working with them to enter the competition?
We are. We're going to get started straight after this morning, and it's just fantastic to see their enthusiasm just fire up, and they can express themselves in any way they wish.
And they seem genuinely into this, right?
Genuinely into us. We've got a fantastic school and they are fabulous writers, so we're really lucky. 500
words times 60 is... Well, I don't know, you know that better than I do. Look at this is brilliant. We've got some top illustrators here. They will illustrate the winning entries. This is Sue Cheung. Morning to you.
Morning.
Show us what you're drawing while we're here this morning.
Right, well, I've got a carnival kind of float thing going on here, all loads of different characters all celebrating. And here we've got the Queen herself, because one of the prizes is actually the height of the Queen in books. And I've drawn in her wellies because I think that's what she likes to wear behind the scenes.
Wellies and the crown, it's a good look. We'll see that develop during the morning, Sue. Thank you very much indeed. They're all talking about inspiration. If you need inspiration, here are some messages from some faces you might recognise.
If I wrote a 500-word story, it would be set in Coventry City Centre about a superhero who works in an ice cream shop and he's got a pet reindeer. There's a lot going on there.
A grandmother and a grandfather, and it would be a tribute to my nutty bonkers grandparents.
And my main character would be a child who could walk on water.
It would be set in a recording studio.
In the jungle, and my main character would be a cyborg.
A woods, but not as you know it, because there's a secret world inside.
The 500 words competition is back, so pick up a pen and start writing.
My 500 word story would be set in space, in outer space, because I love space.
It would definitely include a horse.
Do like a little top trumps, like their character, what they're like, how tall they are, what sports they like. Build up, like, texture.
Maybe it can also fly as well, and it flies by doing massive trumps.
Oh, that's a bestseller. I'm going to write this.
It's an incredible opportunity to work on your skills. Who knows, you may be an author in the future.
"500 words can be about absolutely anything. The spelling, the punctuation doesn't matter, just your imagination. And your story could get you to Buckingham Palace. As we were hearing from Sue, a pile of books as high as the Queen, even a pile of books as high as Lenny Henry, which is even more, right?
He's tall, old Lenny. Oh, he's a tall man, oh, yes.
Hacker, good morning.
Hello, John. You all right, Cocker?
We're delighted to have you here, along with Hannah Gold, author. Thank you for coming.
you.
And Alex Wharton, who's the Children's Laureate of Wales. So
Hello.
you must be rooting for these Welsh kids to fly the flag in this competition.
Definitely, 100%, yeah.
What do you love about 500 words?
I think it's just a great opportunity, really, isn't it, to get children writing, to get them thinking about, you know, how they want to express themselves, and why not? Creative language is a wonderful way, really, for us to learn about ourselves.
And the message is, although this school is going to be doing the competition within school, within the timetable, is not to think of this as like a school project.
No, don't think of it like that, Cocker.
I agree with Hacker. Yeah. Yeah, not at all. It's, you know, it's creative, so it's just something of yourself, really. Just express yourself in whatever way that you feel, and that's the beauty of it, really. We're all unique. We all have our own story to tell. So really, just lean into that, I would say.
I love the way you keep looking at Hacker.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, am I saying right by Hacker?
You're right. I agree with you. Yeah, have fun with it or something.
Dogs need not apply for this competition.
I can't even hold a pen, Cocker.
Hannah, don't look so nervous. You'll be fine.
I'm slightly concerned. He's growling in my ear.
He's fine. He's house trained. Just.
Well, I'm house then.
Quite right. Hannah, what would you say? I mean, did you always want to be a writer?
I did. Ever since I was really young, like Key Stage 2, I just dreamt of two things. Number one, to be an author, and number two, to own my own cat. So I'm happy to say I've achieved both.
Yeah.
You've got a cat as well?
Yeah.
They are dirty.
You've just made
cats
an
are dirty. Viewers at home, cats are filth.
What would have helped you? So if you were the age of these kids, thinking about getting involved, what would you have needed to hear to get your entry really good? What do you think, Hannah?
For me, I think it's all about self-belief. So it's not worrying about how good your story is going to be. It's just first and foremost enjoying it. And I think if you can just put enjoyment and fun into your story, and that is going to come through in the words, it's going to shine through, and write about something that you're passionate about, that's something that means something to you, and that you feel that you can just create something amazing out of your passions.
Sue Barker, I love Sue Barker. I can write about Sue Barker.
Alex, did you always want to be a writer? Did you dream you'd be a writer?
Me personally, no. I started writing as an adult, you know, so I think that what I do in schools now is, you know, trying to inspire children to use poetry, you know, lyrics, stories, to express themselves and to find, you know, a path in the world of literature. So I didn't really I don't feel that I met anybody like doing what I was doing, that, you know, what I do now when I was younger. So hopefully that what I do kind of inspires children to find their way and find poetry earlier, perhaps. But, yeah.
What would you guys like to hear? Would you like to hear some messages from Alex and from Hannah this morning? So if you've got any questions, shall I come and have a quick chat?
Go on, John, get some questions.
I need some help. What's your question?
Where do you get your inspiration from?
Inspiration, where does it come from? Because some people are a bit scared by that word, inspiration, Alex.
Inspo, hashtag inspo.
Inspiration for me, I just kind of like, I absorb the world around me, really, the conversations that I have with people, you know, the natural world. I'm inspired a lot about nature. So just a bit of everything, really. Your life, everything that you've got going on in your life is good inspiration.
Let's get another question. She'll come and have a quick chat with you as well. Good morning. What's your name?
Alfie.
Alfie, good morning. Feeling all right? Not too tired?
I am.
But you're putting a brave face on. What question do you have?
What tips do you have for writing stories?
Tips for writing stories. That's the key thing, isn't it, Hannah?
We all want our tips. And my top 3 tips, Alfie, would be number 1, write about what you love. So the kind of books that you love reading are going to be the kind of books that you love writing about. So follow that. And then number 2, don't worry about what anybody else is going to think. Like I said, this isn't a teaching assignment. This is just for you to explore your creativity and enjoy it. And number 3, be brave. Be brave.
Be brave.
And take the lid off the pen.
Lid off the pen. That's quite a good suggestion, isn't it?
Do that
We've
first.
got some more questions here. Shall I ask you as well?
How would you keep the flow going in the book?
Oh, that's a very good question. How do you keep the flow going, Alex?
That's a technical question,
Yeah,
Alex, for you.
Well, for me, I'm a poet, so really speaking, there are so many different avenues and different kind of ideas in every poem. So that kind of flow, I feel like poetry just, you know, every poem has its own energy and musicality. But I suppose it's different, really, when you're writing like a novel, because obviously you've got this big weight kind of behind you, and you've got a story arc to continue with. So what do you think about that?
I think you've got, even for 500 words, you've got to have a clear beginning, middle and end. So make sure it starts strong, there's something happening in the middle, and you end with a bit of a kind of a really good, poignant or explosive moment.
End with a flourish.
Yes, that's it, Hacker.
End with a flurry. Do you know what we're going to end with now? We're going to end with telling people where they can get information.
Is it a VT? Or are you going to do it live?
We're going to do it live, Hacker. That's why we're here this morning. Because if you want inspiration, more inspiration, beyond what we've heard from Hannah and Alex, if you want all the details about how to enter and the terms and conditions, you can go right now to the BBC website, bbc.co.uk/500 words. All you need to know there, privacy notices, deadline for entries is Friday the 10th of November at 8 p.m. So you've got 45 days. vacancy notices. Deadline for entries is Friday the 10th of November at 8 p.m. So you've got 45 days to get your entry. There's no rush. There's no rush. That's all right, isn't it? We can do that.
Yeah, plenty of time to work on the story.
Apparently, some breakfast. Who wants breakfast?
Me, I'm starving.
Yeah, I think there's some toast going. You want some breakfast? Yeah. We'll get some toast. Hackett, I'm not sure that looks particularly...
I'll share me wheaty fun nuggets with you if you like, John.
Your wheaty fun nuggets sound delicious,
Available from all good stockists.
Let's get the news, the travel and weather from our breakfast teams around the UK. We'll see you a bit later in the programme. Bye
Carol
for now.
Kirkwood, is it Carol Kirkwood or not?
Good morning. We've got showers coming up from the south this morning, rain coming in from the west. The whole lot is pushing northeastwards. Behind it, sunshine and showers, but it's tomorrow we'll feel the force of Storm Agnes. I'll have all the details later in the programme.
Good morning from Monmouthshire. And once upon a time, there was a children's writing competition on the BBC. It started about 10 years ago, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. It disappeared for a few years, but today it's back and we start accepting entries for 2023-2024. 500 words, that's all you need to write. 500 words. The spelling doesn't matter, the punctuation doesn't really matter. It's all about ideas and imagination. We've come here to beautiful Abergavenny on the edge of the Brecon Beacons this morning to launch the programme here at Llanfoist Fawr Primary School, where the kids are already firing up their imaginations, maybe inspired by the beautiful countryside around here, getting their inspiration maybe from the medieval castle in town, or the mountains and the hills. We're going to be joined here on the sofa, here in the hall, by writers like Frank Cottrell-Boyce and Charlie Higson, best-selling authors. We've got illustrators here to give tips and ideas to all these kids and for anybody watching at home. So stay tuned. All that to come here on BBC Breakfast. But for now, let's get the rest of today's news from Sal.
John, thanks very much indeed. We have been warned. Carol, thank you very much. Now, if your child has a story to tell, we have got some very exciting news for you all this morning. The country's biggest short story competition, 500 words, is back and it's here on Breakfast. John is out at a school in Abergavenny this morning where I can tell already the excitement is building, John.
It really is. I thought coming in early and maybe having some extra writing tasks to do, Sally, might tire them out a bit, but they're full of it. They're talking about their ideas, talking about what they're going to be entering, and we're going to tell you all about how you can do it in the next few minutes. So if you've got a young child in your house, maybe a grandchild, maybe you're a teacher, everything you need to know coming up right here, right now. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Should we say good morning to Wales as well? Bore-da? Who's going to win the rugby? There's an inspiring story, right? That's what we're after. Inspiring stories. 500 words is back. Do you want to know how it works? Yeah. Do you want to know what the prizes are? Yeah. Ah, now you're interested. We can tell you exclusively on Breakfast this morning that the 50 finalists, the 50 best entries from all over the UK, it's gone really quiet as you wait to find out this, will be invited to Buckingham Palace by Her Majesty Queen Camilla. Yes, she's always backed this competition right from when it started 10 years or so ago, but this year she wants to be a part of it again. And I took one of the judges, Sir Lenny Henry, to see where he's going to be judging and giving out the prizes. Today, but I told you there would be some surprises.
They're going to let me have the carriage.
No, they're not.
Shall I read it?
If you read it.
I send this letter, dear Sir Lenny, to ask you kindly if there's any chance you might today at breakfast tell your viewers of a contest. Oh, hang on a minute, it rhymes.
It's a poem.
I've got to start again.
You start again?
Oh, no, Storms will be so ashamed of me. Cheers.
It doesn't matter where you're watching BBC Breakfast this morning, wherever you are in the UK, and we are live in Abergavenny this morning in Monmouthshire in South Wales at Llanfoist Fawr Primary School. Wherever you are, you stand an equal chance of winning this competition. Somebody watching right now could well end up slurping tea with Lenny Henry, meeting the Queen at Buckingham Palace. And look, we've got some of the other judges here with us this morning. Frank Cottrell-Boyce, Charlie Higson and Alex Wharton, the Poet Laureate, Children's Laureate of Wales. Fantastic to have you all here.
Great to be here.
You've been judges before, haven't you? Tell us what you love about this competition.
Oh, I just love the unpredictability of it. You go in not knowing what the stories will be like, and you're blown away every year by how different they are and how alive they are. We've seen really terrifying, scary stories and very funny stories and stories that break your heart. You know, it's wonderful.
Anything?
Yeah, it puts your faith back in storytelling.
So, Charlie, there'll be kids watching this morning who are maybe going off to school, thinking, I've already got to do my homework, I've got to write this, I've got to write that. How is this competition different from what they write the rest of the time?
Because they can do whatever they want. There are no rules to this, other than tell us a story. And so they don't need to try and impress their mum and dad or a teacher. Maybe they could try and impress one of their mates. Look, I've written a story.
So things like spelling and punctuation, as Lenny was saying.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
So what does matter? What really counts?
Well, yeah, I say it's telling that story, getting someone engaged. Oh, that's interesting. What's going to happen next? What, you know?
Apparently, since the competition started...
Oh, can I be in it?
More than, oh.
Can I enter it?
No, you can't enter it. Look at Hackers here, everybody.
Hello, cockers. Nice to be at this lovely school in Wales or something.
Hacker, have you got any questions? I know you can't enter as a dog, but and we're certainly not going to take you to Buckingham Palace.
No, not again.
But what would you like to know if you were able to write?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live.
We're live.
There we go. 500 Words is live on the BBC for 2023. That grand finale at the Palace in February next year. You're right. Yeah. You're coping all right?
I'm fine.
Oh, thanks, Frank.
OK, Hacky, do you know what we do next?
Yes, am I doing that thing now?
I'd like you to do it, yeah. You earn your money.
Right, where's my single? Is that me?
There you go. There.
Which one? Oh, that one. Hello, cockers. Coming up now is Morning Live with Geffen and Michelle. Enjoy, if you can.
Thank you, Hacker. How much was Zand enjoying the whole Hacker? Look at the smile on his face. You're like a fan.
It makes me want to open a tin of meat paste.